We will be looking at UK inmates who were handed whole life sentences that passed away while serving their time. 1. Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. Ian Brady and Myra Hindley took the lives of 5 children between 1963 and 1965. In May 1966, he was convicted of taking the lives of 3 children. By 1994, it had been confirmed that Brady was one of a small group of prisoners who had been issued with a whole life sentence at the time. He was declared insane in 1985 and spent his time serving his sentence in hospitals. He was on a long-term hunger strike for the majority of his sentence. In 1986, Ian Brady and Myra Hindley admitted to taking the lives of 2 more children and guided the police to find them on Saddleworth Moor. In 2001, he published a book. Throughout his sentence, he was very selective of the media he chose to give interviews. Ian Brady never made a legal challenge against his whole life sentence and made it clear long before he passed away that he did not want to be paroled. After serving 51 years, Ian Brady passed away at the age of 79 of heart failure at Ashworth Hospital in May 2017. At Myra Hindley's original trial, the judge recommended that she should serve at least 25 years in prison, feeling that, unlike Brady, there was a possibility that Hindley could be rehabilitated and suitable for parole once removed from Brady's influence. The 25-year min term was given. The sentence was increased in 1985 to 30 years and to a whole life sentence by 1990, although she was not informed of the whole life sentence until December 1994. While in prison, Myra Hindley found religion and rejected Brady and her past. She also studied and received a humanities degree from the Open University. Myra Hindley appealed her whole life sentence 3 times, but each appeal was unsuccessful. After serving 36 years, Myra Hindley passed away of respiratory failure in West Suffolk Hospital at the age of 60 in November 2002. 2. Donald Nilsen. Donald Nilsen was nicknamed the Black Panther because of the clothes he wore. He took the lives of 3 postmasters during robberies in various areas of the country. He then abducted 17-year-old Leslie Whittle. He attempted to ransom her, but she was found 2 months later. He was convicted in July 1976 after being caught when 2 police officers he had taken hostage overpowered him. At his trial, he was handed a 30-year min sentence, but this was later changed to a whole life order. In 2008, he lost an appeal to have his tariff reduced to 30 years, his original sentence. On the 18th of December 2011, after serving 36 years, Donald Nilsen passed away from pneumonia in Norfolk Hospital. 3. John Straffen. John Straffen took the lives of Brenda Goddard, aged 6, and Cicely Batstone, aged 9, in July 1951. He was handed a whole life sentence. The following year, he escaped for a 4-hour period and took the life of 5-year-old Linda Bauer, although he always has proclaimed his innocence. He was then handed a whole life sentence. He spent 55 years in prison, and then at the age of 77 in Franklin Prison, he passed away in November 2007 after a short illness. 4. Raymond Morris. Raymond Morris took the lives of 3 girls between 1965 and 1967, although he was only convicted of 1 count. He was never officially confirmed to have been among the prisoners issued with a whole life sentence. He remained in prison for 45 years until he passed away of natural causes at the age of 84 in Preston Prison on the 11th of March 2014. 5. Trevor Hardy. Trevor Hardy took the lives of 3 teenage girls between December 1974 and March 1976. It's suspected that he is linked to many more crimes. At the height of the search, 23,000 people were stopped and interviewed. Trevor Hardy was arrested. In 1976, he confessed to both and that of a third victim, who until that point had been missing. Despite the alibi provided by his girlfriend, Hardy was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment in May 1978. He remained in prison for 36 years. At the age of 67, he collapsed in his cell at Wakefield Prison on the 23rd of September 2012 and passed away from a heart attack. 6. Archibald Hall. Archibald Hall worked as a butler. He took the lives of 4 people in the upper class society of Britain at the time, whom he also worked for. Hall received 4 life sentences at his trial in May 1978, with the judge recommending that Hall should never be freed. This recommendation was upheld when the list of confirmed whole life tariff prisoners was published, and Hall was the oldest prisoner on the list. He publicly requested the right to pass away in 1995. In 1999, he published his autobiography. He passed away at the age of 78 of a stroke in Kingston Prison, Portsmouth, on the 16th of September 2002. 7. Dennis Nilsen. Dennis Nilsen was an ex-army and ex-police civil servant who took the lives of 15 young men at his homes in North London. Nilsen was arrested in February 1983 after workmen discovered blocked drains. His trial was in November 1983. The judge originally recommended a 25-year min sentence, but the Home Secretary said that Nilsen should serve the rest of his life behind bars. Appeals were rejected, and while in prison, he was also denied the right to publish his autobiography in addition to music and poetry from prison. He passed away on the 12th of May 2018 in York Hospital of a hemorrhage which occurred following a surgery. He was 72 years old and had served 34 years in prison. 8. Victor Castigador. Victor Castigador led a gang of robbers. He robbed an amusement arcade where he worked himself in London. He set the place on fire and 2 members of staff lost their life. He received an initial sentence of 25 years, but this was extended to a whole life tariff. He was charged on the 20th of June 2016 for taking the life of a fellow inmate. He admitted to this and was given another whole life sentence in the October. He passed away on the 21st of March 2017 of a suspected heart attack at the age of 63 in Wood Hill Prison. 9. Colin Ireland. Colin Ireland set a New Year's resolution to become infamous for his crimes, and he did. In Southend, London, between the 8th of March 1993 and the 12th of June 1993, he took the lives of 5 men. He pretended to be homosexual in order to be taken back to each of his victims' homes. While there, he then took their lives and then robbed them to cover his travelling expenses as he was unemployed. The police struggled to link the cases, which is why he went unnoticed. But he was arrested after his fingerprint was found in one of the victims' flats. On the 20th of December 1993, Ireland admitted to all charges and was given 5 life sentences. On December 22, 2006, Ireland was one of the 35 life sentence prisoners whose name appeared on the Home Office's list of prisoners who had been issued with whole life tariffs. He served 19 years and at the age of 57, he passed away on the 21st of Feb 2012 at Wakefield Prison from a pulmonary fibrosis and a fractured hip he had suffered earlier in the month from. 10. Colin Hatch. Colin Hatch was convicted of SA on boys in 1991 and 1992, but jailed for only 3 years after it was decided he was not dangerous enough to be held in a secure hospital against the advice of a psychiatrist. He was paroled early and then took the life of 7-year-old Sean Williams in summer 1993 in North London. He received a whole life sentence for this. He was jailed until he passed away in February 2011 in Full Sutton Prison. He was found in his cell, and it was reported that his life was taken by convicted robber Damien Folkes, who also wounded Ian Huntley. He was 38 years old. 11. Harold Shipman. Harold Shipman was a general practitioner who was convicted in January 2000 of taking the lives of 15 of his patients at his surgery in Hyde, Greater Manchester in the 1990s. He gave them lethal doses. Suspicion was raised in 1998 when the daughter of his last victim found that Shipman had forged her mother's will. Shipman was sentenced to life imprisonment at the end of his trial in January 2000, with the judge recommending that he should never be released. In July 2002, the Home Secretary agreed. An official inquiry shortly afterwards concluded that there was enough evidence to decide that Harold Shipman took the lives of 215 of his patients. He never confessed to any of the crimes. On the 13th of January 2004, he took his own life in his cell at Wakefield Prison. It's reported that this may have been motivated by the desire to leave his wife with a full NHS pension of $100,000, lump sum payment plus $1,200 per month for life, as his wife would only receive this if he had passed away before the age of 60. He took his own life the day before his 58th birthday. 12. Andrzej Kanowski. It was a Polish man who took the life of 12-year-old Macedonian girl Katrina Koneva in West London in May 1997. He was not arrested and charged until 6 years later. He served just over 5 years of his sentence before he passed away from heart failure in Franklin Prison on the 23rd of September 2009. He has been identified by the police as linking to many more crimes that they are still investigating. 13. Paul Coleshaw. Paul Coleshaw took the life of Claire Benson in 2005. After his trial, it was revealed that Coleshaw had previous convictions, very serious convictions, including he was handed a whole life sentence. Coleshaw was found collapsed in his cell at Franklin Prison on the 5th of Feb 2013. He passed away the following day in hospital of natural causes at the age of 45. 14. Glyn Dix. Glyn Dix took the life of his wife Hazel at their home in Redditch in 2004. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and was held in Ashworth Hospital. At his trial, it was revealed that he had been out of prison on a life licence following a previous conviction for taking the life of a woman during the 1970s. He passed away in 2014 at the age of 60. 15. Daniel Gonzalez. Daniel Gonzalez was an addict inspired by horror films. Across London and Sussex in 2004, he took the lives of 4 randomly chosen people and attempted to take the lives of 2 more. His mother had previously begged for help from the authorities, asking in one letter if her son might have to commit a crime before anyone would do something about him. He pled not guilty by reason of insanity, but was found guilty and given 6 life sentences, with the judge imposing a whole life sentence. He took his own life in Broadmoor Hospital at the age of 27 on the 9th of August 2007. 16. Peter Tobin. Peter Tobin was convicted in 2009 of taking the life of Dina McNichol in Margate, Kent in 1991. Tobin had already been convicted in Scotland for taking the life of Vicky Hamilton. He was also found guilty of taking the life of Angelica Cluck in a Glasgow church in 2006 and was handed 3 life sentences, but in December 2009 he was handed a whole life sentence. He passed away at the age of 76 in Edinburgh Hospital on the 8th of October 2022 after becoming ill. He had cancer and a lung infection. 17. Roydon Jackson. Roydon Jackson was handed a whole life sentence for taking the life of ex-offender Gordon Boone in October 2008 He had only just been released on licence 2 years earlier following a previous conviction of taking someone else's life in 1989. He passed away from cancer in Whitemoor Prison in March 2019. 18. Peter Sutcliffe. Peter Sutcliffe, also known as the Yorkshire Ripper, took the lives of 13 women and attacked 7 others between 1975 and 1980 in West Yorkshire and Greater Manchester. He was caught by chance while sitting in his car with a potential victim in Sheffield in January 1981. He made a full confession to each crime to the police, even though they had only arrested him for having false number plates. At his trial later in 1981, he pled guilty to manslaughter, but was convicted of 13 and was jailed for life. He was initially held in a mainstream prison before being transferred to Broadmoor Hospital. He was returned to a mainstream prison in 2016 and passed away due to COVID-19 in the University Hospital of North Durham on the 13th of November 2020 at the age of 74. 19. Ernest Wright. Ernest Wright was given a whole life sentence for taking the life of Neville Corby and attempting to take the life of Corby's partner. He had previously been convicted in 1971 for taking someone else's life and served 26 years. He passed away from heart failure and pneumonia on the 4th of September 2020 following a fall in Wakefield Prison. He was 79 years old. 20. Anthony Hardy. Anthony Hardy took the life of 3 women in London, Camden, between December 2000 and December 2002. A homeless person looked through bins scavenging and found one of the victims. The investigation led back to Hardy. He was convicted in 2002 and sentenced to 3 life sentences, which was later changed to a whole life prison sentence. At the age of 69, Anthony Hardy passed away in Franklin Prison on the 25th of November 2020 of pneumonia. 21. David Cook. David Cook was convicted in 1988 of taking the life of a young woman. He was released in 2009. Whilst on parole, he took the life of a second person. He was then handed a whole life sentence. He passed away aged 74 after testing positive for COVID while serving his time in Franklin Prison in 2021. 22. David Oakes. David Oakes took the life of his long-term girlfriend and their 2-year-old daughter following the breakdown of their relationship in 2011. He committed this crime just hours after a custody hearing to agree access rights to their daughter. He said that he grew jealous and frustrated over the ending of their relationship and did not want another father figure in his daughter's life. Oakes passed away in hospital of natural causes less than a year into his life sentence. 23. Stephen Pharoh. Stephen Pharoh was homeless and had a history of psychiatric illness. He was convicted of taking the life of Betty Yates and Reverend John Sudders in 2012. He served his whole life sentence in Franklin Prison, where he passed away on the 21st of August 2023 at the age of 59. His cause has not been disclosed. Thanks for watching. Until next time.